Welcome to Thunderbird Customs and Shop Talk. My name is Joshua. This is not going to be a one-subject channel. Here I will build custom rides and repair cars. I will talk about religion, politics, and culture. And I will prove God is real, using science and other methods. What His laws are, and how to find Him. I will also speak the truth, and if that hurts, the problem is with you, not me. I also have a job outside of this, and suffer from migraines occasionally, so it's unlikely that there will be daily videos, at least not at this point. But what will be talked about will be important when a new video is added. Right now, I don't know if you can hear, I do have a heater running in the background. I'm up in my barn. It's a 4,000 square foot pole barn, but it is uninsulated and unheated. So I have actually set up a canopy inside my barn to cover my current project so I can be heated when it's 20 degrees outside. Being up here in Minnesota, it will get a lot colder than 20 degrees. This is a warm break. Right now, I have many other cars, many other projects, and many other topics to talk about. For now, we're just going to start with this. This is going to be my new project, a car that I just purchased about a month ago. It's a 1965 Thunderbird, and it is in fairly good shape for its age. It does need work. I believe I got it for a deal. And why don't I go ahead and show you around. And this is what we're looking at. I know it's a little hard to see everything all at once. That's the problem with having the car inside the canopy here. But I'm trying to get a lot of it handled before spring, because I'd actually like to have this car on the road in the spring. It's a little hard to talk and be on the camera at the same time due to how tight the spaces are in here. It is a 65 Thunderbird with a Ford 390 FE engine. Now, the biggest problem with this car is that the engine is stuck. I've been working to try to unstick the engine. It can be done. It's going to take a little bit of time, a little bit of work. And that's what I'm going to be starting with, is breaking down the engine some. I have an engine stand already, but it's not going to hold the weight of this big block. So I ordered a new stand that should be here this coming week. The biggest problem is that the previous owner did the unthinkable, and as you can see, where are the spark plugs? They took the spark plugs out and they left the spark plugs out. So obviously you get a little bit of moisture down there, the ring sees to the cylinder wall, and then you can't get it to turn over. So that's where we're at. Everything else looks good. The car did come with all the parts to restore it. There's parts in the trunk, there's parts in the car, there's parts outside the canopy. Basically everything is here. And this is what we're looking at. Here's the inside of the trunk. Here's the inside of the trunk. There's a lot of chrome parts, a lot of parts in general. The car is in very good shape. Again, like I said, it's a little tight in here right now. I don't know if there's anything that I can do about this. until it warms up some, where I can take this canopy down. The car needs pretty much a full restoration. But like I said, everything's here. It's a little packed in here too. Got a fender here for the passenger side back quarter. Looks like they're letting the other one, so that's why there's a new quarter to be put on. I know to a lot of people this is probably going to look like a pile of crap, but I've been around cars all my life, and I've been building cars for about 25 years, and there is more than enough of this one to get started with. All the glass is intact. Most everything is intact except for the steering wheel. Got some corrosion. All the chrome and everything that's going to come off and be done. But like I said, the first thing is just get the engine to turn over, because there's no point in finishing anything else until that engine moves. I know that the number one item used to free a stuck engine is vinegar. Vinegar eats rust. It's highly acidic. And I did start in early December, maybe late November when I bought the car. It was still above freezing here. So I filled the cylinders with vinegar, and little did I know that vinegar froze. So a week later, when the temperature dropped below freezing, I had a 390 full of ice. That's one of the reasons I'm running my heater out here now, aside from the temperature outside, is to thaw out and empty all the vinegar in the system. Once that vinegar is out, then I can start working on tearing it down. I did work a little bit before I started this video today, getting the block up to temperature so all the vinegar would melt and blow it out of the cylinders. I took out the drain plug for the oil pan today, and sludgy, nasty oil along with a lot of vinegar came up. So the vinegar did get past some of the cylinder walls, which is a good sign. But it didn't get past all of them, which is the reason it's still stuck. So let's see what we can see and do what we can do with this. Alright, everyone. That heater was a little too loud, so hopefully I can bear with it out here at least for a while until I get too cold. I think the first step is just to start breaking this down. It would be much nicer if I had my bay to work in, but It's way too cold in my barn outside of that, so I do have some tools in here with me. Otherwise, I'll have to go out and get other stuff to start taking this apart. Like I've said, I already started taking some of this apart. My hope is to get the radiator and cooling system taken off. I'd like to get the coolant tank taken off. My hope is to actually get my heat gun into the thermostat housing so I can try to superheat the block going through the coolant passages. Maybe help expand some of that metal. I'm gonna have to try to come up with some form of ideas of how to get this engine unstuck. I imagine it is going to have to come out, which without a lift I absolutely hate doing. I have done it numerous times, so I'm not concerned about getting the engine out. I do have the space to do it. It's just a dog to do, especially on something of this nature, of this size. So I guess let's just go ahead and get started. These clamps I've already taken off this tank. I tried getting in. I tried getting into the cooling system earlier today with my heat gun, but until I can get directly into the block through the thermostat, that's just not going to happen. I'm just going to set all the parts out of the way for now. It looks like it was in good shape, and it still is in good shape. But whoever the idiot was that decided to leave the spark plugs out is going to cost me a whole bunch of time that I don't want to deal with. Fortunately, this being a 65, we are quite a ways outside the metric system. So pretty much everything on here should be standard, the way it should be. That way you don't have to try to figure out, at least us car guys don't have to try to figure out what size a certain bolt is. Of course, with the metric bolts, most of them are all 10 millimeters anyway. So, let's see. Yeah, I imagine, huh? I do like working on cars, and I do have more than enough projects to keep me going. Whether or not they all get done, though, that's the next question. What is that sound? It almost sounds like heat coming up through the cylinders from my heater that I had aimed at under the underside of the car. Okay, well, anyways. And this being an air-conditioned car is also going to give me a little bit of an extra headache, although not a giant problem. But I'm trying to keep this R12. I still have a bunch of R12 tanks that I found when I bought this farm. The previous owner left a lot of this stuff here in place, and it was a buy as you see sale. So there's a lot of items and a lot of stuff still left here on this farm. I haven't decided what to do with this car just yet. I'm not sure if I'm going to leave it cool. Suspension is completely gone. No shocks. Haven't decided if I'm gonna try to rat rod it or do a nice restore on it, or maybe a little of both. That shock is completely trashed. I know I said I was going to start with the cooling system. I find on cars anyway, I get easily sidetracked because I see something and then I want to jump on that too. Mod rust, but nothing that a sandblaster won't take off, or vinegar, or anything. If you're gonna use vinegar, don't do what I did. Don't do it when it's gonna freeze. Make sure that temperature outside is not gonna freeze, or the vinegar will freeze. That was my mistake. So, get this coil out of the way. Try to get the coil out of the way if the tools will cooperate. Seriously? Oh, I love it when these people that work on their own cars replace parts or don't know what they're doing. And then you wind up with different size parts. Because the previous person had no idea what they were trying to do. This is an older Craftsman set. It's one of my portable sets that I carry with me in my truck. But this is one of those Craftsman sets that they made where it doesn't matter how long the bolt is, because all the sockets and extensions and wrenches are all hollow. And as you can see, it goes right through. So you don't have to worry about the length of a bolt. Just know what size it is. And then you can take it off. Most of these parts, like this coil, I'm not even going to bother checking. I'm just going to replace it because they're not that expensive, and you can buy good aftermarket ones for a good performance upgrade. All right. Now this tank here, of course, has a line going all the way down past the fuel pump and is connected with the bolts to the thermostat housing. So let's see about getting in there. Oh, wow. Not sure if that's a half inch or if that's just or if that bolt is just way too close to the plate. Oh, yep, it is a half. Good. Okay. I heard a lot of people say that these Thunderbirds weren't super popular, and to be honest, I wasn't looking for it when I found this car. When I was raised as a Chevy guy. I've actually had cars from all the big three. I started out as a Chevy guy, probably for the first 16 years of my life, I should say anyway. Not that I knew what cars were when I was a baby, but you know what cars you have when you're raised around them. I had my fair share. I probably had 30, 40 cars in my lifetime so far. I think closer to 30. And every Chevy that I tried to modify, it blew up. So, when I was 17, I found my first Mustang, which I still have. It is in the back of the barn. However, it will never drive again. Well, I shouldn't say that. Anything's possible, I guess. But I bought my first Mustang, and I became a Ford guy overnight. And I loved Fords, still do. They're well built, at least the old ones are. And that's where I come into Dodges. It's because I had a 2000 Focus. I think it was a 2000. And that car was the bane of my existence. Because Ford, in all their glorious ways of making things when they with their new cars, thought that pressed-in wheel bearings were a good idea. Now, I understand that many companies use pressed-in wheel bearings, but those Focuses, were just notorious for wheel bearing issues. And I finally got tired of it. I got tired of the back wheel bearings going out and having to replace them, go to the shop, have new ones put in, or I didn't have a press at that time, so I had to take the drum to a shop to have the bearing put in it. And after it went out a third time, I had enough. And I went car shopping and found a Mitsubishi Galant 2003. Gorgeous car. Looks like a Lincoln LS. Bought it from a dealer in town. And actually still have that car too. That's in the barn here. And that was a great car. Needs to be put back together. I parked it one winter, and the mice thought it would be a good idea to get into the heating system. So now it's in pieces waiting to be fixed. Not too bad. Interesting. Okay. But yeah, I bought that Galant and left Ford. And I needed a new truck after my Ford truck took a dump. And thought, well, Mitsubishi is part of Dodge. At least it was back then. So I bought a Dodge Ram. And I've been Dodge ever since. So yeah, I've had all the big three. They all have their highs and lows, I guess you could say. That don't feel too good. So here we are, working on this Thunderbird. Again, like I said, I wasn't really looking for it. I wasn't looking for a Thunderbird at all. But I found it on Marketplace. Guy wanted $1,200 for it. I got him down to $1,000. He accepted, and I bought the car. He told me a story on the car. It comes from Illinois. He bought it because he has one of these cars himself that he restored. He wanted a parts car. He bought the car and saw that it was in too good a shape to be a parts car. So he bought a third Thunderbird. And he has that for a parts car and put this up on Marketplace. I don't know what it was, but I fell in love with the car. It looks nice to me. I don't know why nobody else likes them. but I like it. And so now I have a Thunderbird that I'm going to be working on here to put back together. And you can all join me in this venture. I also have other projects. My main car is an 08 Charger RT Daytona clone. It is an RT, but it's just a Daytona clone. That needs some front end work. Not much. Car is in good shape aside from that. I have my Ram. I have a lift kit to put in that. Maybe some other odds and ends to do to that. I have a little bit of body work. I have two F-Series, mid-90s F-Series trucks that I'm hoping to make a monster out of. I want to do a 6-wheel drive, 4-wheel steer, 4-door, full-length box F-150. I have my, as I said already, I have my Galant to put back together. I have a couple boats. I have my Mustang. And I have other subjects to talk about. And we'll see how all this goes. Hopefully everything here will go just fine, and everybody will like what. Well, I had to go out and let my fool dog in. He was barking his stupid fool head off outside and wouldn't come in the house. So here I am. But I don't know if you guys can hear that noise that I can hear. It's a very, very minute hissing sound. I believe what I'm hearing is probably the air conditioning system. Now, granted, this car hasn't run in, well, for some time. But it sounds like the air conditioning system may still be charged, and it may have developed a leak. So since I have a migraine starting, probably because of this cold weather, I am going to cut this video short, and I will be back out here in a day or two, see if it stopped making noise. It sure would be nice to get it evacuated, but of course, this is a project car that doesn't run and can't be towed anywhere. So I'll come out in a day or two here and see if it's still making noise. I'm not a fan of being around refrigerant if I don't have to, especially if it's leaking. And so yeah. I am going to call it, and I will see you guys next time.